The following recording is not meant to treat, diagnose, or mitigate any disease. It is for educational purposes only. Okay, guys, uh, welcome to the Thursday Night Avini presentation. And thank you for taking your valuable time to come, and we have some exciting news to share with you. It's a heartfelt thanks that you're here. I mean, really, we have a problem in the world. The biggest problem I think we have is healthcare. I mean, bottom line, this problem exists across the planet, not just United States, Canada, everywhere. Just a little bit of history on myself. I'm a holistic health practitioner here in San Diego, California. I had a tragedy in 2004. I lost my son to brain cancer. And I wanted to find out something that is a good protocol, not just for cancer, but for any kind of maladies, any kind of things that can go awry with the body. It doesn't matter what heart issues or so anything like that. And I come across this company called Avini, and I've been with Avini for about 8 months. What does health mean for everybody? It means supplying yourselves with everything we need while keeping them free of toxins that they don't need. Health is not really valued until sickness comes. We're driving down on the road. This is in Clearwater, Florida. All of a sudden, my son passes out. I don't know what the heck's going on. I drive like a maniac to the ER. We get him in the ER, and we found out he has a mass on the bottom of his brain stem, or actually on top of his brain stem. So he had maybe 6 months to live. So we did an operation, emergency, be pacing up and down the hall. You can't imagine what kind of emotions that elicits, you know. So, long story short, they gave him like 3 days to live because of complications and things like that. So, organ system shutting down, all this other stuff. So I was stubborn. I flew him to Mexico, Tijuana, and we got in 4 weeks. There are 3 days to live. The allopathic model was a little bit short on what to do. So in Mexico, what happened was that we got him off of a respirator, out of his coma. He was eating and breathing on his own. This is with natural therapies. Now, I'm not against allopathic therapy technology when you have your leg broken or something like that happens. You want to go and not take herbs for that. You want to go see a doctor, and he have them set and get in the cast. And we have the best diagnostic tools on the planet in the United States of America. Diagnosis here is amazing, but the thing that we're all looking for is solutions. Now, Doc, you had how many years experience in the field of trying to help people with their health?
Well, I was in practice 35 years, Steve, and I hate that we belong to the same club. Having both lost our sons. I lost mine in 2010 to lymphoma, which was caused by Roundup, and he was 32 years old when we found out he had it in March of 2010, and he died in July of 2010. He was just full of it at that time. It wasn't much we could do, but it's just a sad deal, man. But although it's sad, it does motivate us, doesn't it? It motivates us to do as much as we can to make sure other people don't go through it, because it's tough.
Yeah, there's no pain on the planet more than losing your children.
Yeah.
There's nothing. So yeah, I hate to be in the same club, Doc, but that's one of the reasons Doc is on this call. He has a passion for helping people. He has over 30 years experience in doing that with natural therapies, and here we are again. And remember, I said in 4 weeks time we got my son on out of a respirator and breathing and eating on his own. That is wonderful. But what happened is it was $5,000 a week. I ran out of money. When I ran out of money, we did a final brain scan. We thought we had it on the run. We had just a little bit of that bad cells in there. Okay. and then we took him home on a regular jet airliner, and I mean, I medevaced him across, from Clearwater to TJ, and this here was just like the cancer came back and took him out. So I start studying. So let's see, with my experience and Doc's experience, what we can share, we can give forth to you guys. What the heck's going on here? I mean, what the hell's the cause? We've got good nutrition, good supplements, good exercise, and I'm sure, Doc, that's everything that you have ever said to any of your clients, any of your patients. Do the above, and did it work completely?
Oh, it didn't. I mean, we helped a lot of people. In 35 years, I sold hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of nutritional supplements in my practice, and we help people. But since I retired 2 years ago and found Avini, I've learned so much more about how to really help people. And it's something that once you got to share with people. And I'm gonna, I'll expand on that a little bit as we go on tonight. But all these things help, but they don't solve the problem.
Bingo. Could it be we are just too toxic? Now take a look. Now this depiction is pretty gross, but in actual fact, with millions of tons of glyphosate, Roundup, chemicals, forever chemicals, I want to show you guys a little video here. I really like this video. It's 5 minutes of our lives, but check this out. 1 second. There we go. Okay, and here we go. Here's the recording.
When people hear arsenic, they think of it as an acute poison, and indeed a tiny amount, 100 milligrams, could kill you in an hour. That's like the weight of a tenth of a paperclip. But there's also chronic arsenic poisoning, where even a dose 10,000 times as small can be harmful if you're exposed day after day for years at a time. Chief among the concerns is cancer. Arsenic is classified as a Class 1 carcinogen. That's the highest level. Things known to cause cancer in humans, alongside stuff like asbestos, cigarette smoke, formaldehyde, plutonium, processed meat, consumption of bacon, ham, hot dogs, and lunch meat. So arsenic is pretty bad stuff, implicated in tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of cancer cases worldwide every year. Of course, cancer is just our number 2 killer. What about heart disease? Long-term exposure to low to moderate arsenic levels was also found associated with cardiovascular disease incidence and mortality, meaning heart attacks and stroke. When people hear arsenic, they think of it as an acute When people hear arsenic, they think of it as an acute poison, and indeed a tiny amount, 100 milligrams, could kill you in an hour. That's like the weight of a tenth of a paperclip. But there's also chronic arsenic poisoning, where even a dose 10,000 times as small can be harmful if you're exposed day after day for years at a time. Chief among the concerns is cancer. Arsenic is classified as a Class 1 carcinogen. That's the highest level. Things known to cause cancer in humans, alongside stuff like asbestos, cigarette smoke, formaldehyde, plutonium, processed meat, consumption of bacon, ham, hot dogs, and lunch meat. So arsenic is pretty bad stuff, implicated in tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of cancer cases worldwide every year. Of course, cancer is just our number 2 killer. What about heart disease? Long-term exposure to low to moderate arsenic levels was also found associated with cardiovascular disease incidence and mortality, meaning heart attacks and strokes. Arsenic is also considered an immunotoxicant, meaning toxic to our immune system. How do we know that? Well, there's a virus called varicella, which is what causes chickenpox, the first time we get it. Our immune system is able to stamp it down, but not stamp it out. The virus retreats into our nerve cells, where it lies in wait for our immune function to dip. And when it does, the virus reemerges and causes a disease called shingles. We've all been exposed to the virus, but only about 1 in 3 of us will get shingles because our immune system is able to keep it at bay. But as we get older or immunosuppressed, the virus can slip its muzzle, like if you're given arsenic chemotherapy. Shingles is a common side effect because the arsenic drugs not only kill the cancer, but also some of your immune cells too. But that's at high doses. Might even low doses of arsenic, like the kind we're exposed to in our daily diet, impact our immune function? We didn't know until this study, in which thousands of Americans had the levels of arsenic in their urine tested, along with their level of antivirus antibodies, and indeed, the more arsenic they had flowing through their bodies, the lower their defenses. And if you're pregnant, arsenic can pass to your baby and may not just increase the risk of miscarriage and infant mortality, but may also affect an infant's immune development and susceptibility to infections early in life, but you don't know until you put it to the test. Infant infections in relation to prenatal arsenic exposure in a study out of New Hampshire, and indeed, the more arsenic the mom was exposed to during pregnancy, the higher risk of infection during infancy. Though it's unknown whether arsenic-induced changes in gene expression can impact the health of not only your children, but your grandchildren as well. Regardless, arsenic exposure isn't good for mom's own health, associated with increasing blood pressure. If arsenic suppresses immune system function, though, then at least maybe as a silver lining you get fewer allergies or something, which is kind of an overreaction to the immune system? Apparently not. Those with higher arsenic levels tend to have higher rates of food allergies, tend to not sleep as well, tend to not feel as well. If you ask people how they would rate their health, those reporting excellent or very good tended to have lower levels of arsenic, compared to those who just reported good, fair, or poor. They tended to have higher levels. What about diabetes? Here's 24 population studies on arsenic exposure and confirmed diabetes. Any result over 1 suggests increased risk for diabetes. Anything below 1 suggests lower risk. And here are the results, suggesting an association between ingested arsenic and diabetes. But population studies can't prove cause and effect. While it'd be nice to demonstrate a cause and effect relationship, is it necessary? Look, we know it's a carcinogen. We know it causes cancer. What more do we need to take steps to decrease our exposure?
Okay. Are you there, Dr. Kim?
I'm here.
Okay, good. Okay, so arsenic. I'm going to just briefly talk about arsenic here. Why is that so important? Well, what happens is there's a little thing called the zinc finger protein in your body. It's a protein. It's responsible for the replication of all your future generation of your cells. Your whole entire future generation of cells is dependent upon zinc finger protein. And what happens, arsenic takes the place of zinc, changes the shape of the protein, so that replication for future beautiful cells that you want can't happen. That's why it's important to eliminate arsenic from your body. And we have toxicity from everywhere, petroleum, chemicals, air, water, everywhere. And they cause acute, chronic, and severe problems. And not only that, not only those chemicals, we have forever chemicals, volatile organic compounds, and plastic cause deterioration. Where to get them? From food, from flavor retardants, artificial turf supplements, and even newborns are passed toxins with their mom. Doesn't matter how much the mom loves that baby, inadvertently, she's passing her toxins that she has in her body to her newborn kid. And what are we going to do? Look at billions of dollars in healthcare costs. Billions. Is there a solution? No, Dr. Kim, if you could give a little bit of dissertation, the history of our product, what it does.
Sure. Rick Deitch is a brilliant biochemist. He was working for a pharmaceutical company, and they asked him to find a way to get chemotherapy agents out of the body after it did its work in the body, whatever that was. And so Rick went to start doing his research, and he found out that the zeolite would probably be a really good way of doing it. However, he found out that zeolite came with a couple problems. One, the particles were too big. The particles were so big they wouldn't get through into the bloodstream. And two, the particles were too dirty. Now you realize this zeolite or clinoptilolite that we use, a form of zeolite, it's formed when volcanic ash comes down and hits seawater. These little crystals are formed and it accumulates. And over the eons, this stuff's sitting there and it's pulling toxins out of the environment. So you can imagine trying to clean your counter with a sponge that's dirty. It doesn't work too good. So Rick went to work and he found out two things, two ways to, one, micronize the clinoptilolite to get it small enough to get into the bloodstream. And two, he found a way to clean it. And then he found a way to restore the charge to it so that now it's one of the very few negatively charged minerals that can get into the bloodstream. And it has a cage-like structure. And what it does once it gets into the blood is it draws positively charged ions into it. And the smaller and more positively charged those ions that it draws in, the more harmful they are to the body. And of course, those are the heavy metals, the zinc, the lead, the chromium, and so forth. And it has no, really has no good way of getting things like calcium, potassium, phosphorus, magnesium. Those don't work too good getting into the cage. So it's just an amazing compounder because it takes out everything that's bad and leaves the good stuff. The only other way to pull these heavy metals out of the body effectively is EDTA, chelation therapy, which is very expensive and it's IV therapy. But it also not only takes the heavy metals, but it also takes the calcium, magnesium, potassium out of the body. So it can be, if you're not replacing that, that can be dangerous. So taking these toxins out of the blood is the only strategy that really makes sense. Every other product that I look at, and over the years, I have been inundated with different companies telling me about their detox product. Well, they all basically clean out the gut. And if they do, some of the herbs will work to liberate these toxins from the cells and put them into the blood. But if they're not bound up in the blood, they go to the liver. The liver can process a little bit, which goes into the gut. If there's not enough fiber there to bind it, it goes down in the first 3 feet of the colon. It gets reabsorbed, sent back to where it's sequestered or stored, which is fat and bone. So the only strategy that really worked, Rick Deitch discovered, is that clinoptilolite, which binds the heavy metals, the toxins. And when it gets through the liver says that's dirt. It sends it down to the kidneys. Kidney says that's dirt. It's encapsulated in the clinoptilolite. and out it goes in the urine. And it's just amazing, the process. Now I'm going to make a statement, and I'll say I think it's a very profound statement if you think about it. Not beating my own drum here, but after all those years studying nutrition, I had two certifications in functional medicine. I just came to the realization not too long ago that every prescription drug and almost every nutritional supplement that we take are designed to do nothing more than ameliorate or reduce the symptoms of underlying toxicity. Do you know what that means?
Yep.
People are wasting a lot of money on things that if they just went and took the toxins out, they would be on the road to getting better and maintaining a healthy body. And I had a professor who used to say, keep your body healthy, because a healthy body don't get sick, right? So on that screen in front of you, that Cell Defender, in my estimation at this point in my young life, is the most important earth-changing product that I've ever seen. You
Wow.
just got to understand how it works or why it.
That is awesome, Doc. That's perfect.
Thank you.
This was in Vegas. Here is a testimony of a husband and wife and their 7-year-old son who had inoperable brain tumor at the base of his spine. Actually, on top of the spine there, in the pons area, where breathing is controlled and all that. And this is their testimony having to do with the Cell Defender. And also, we have a couple other products I think they were utilizing, but let's just check this out here. Now, Dr. Kim, when I start playing this, let me know if you can hear it.
We talk often about how we help people in their lives.
That's much better, Steve.
Okay, good.
Make it better. You guys do it all day long. It's amazing to me and our staff how well you guys are just willing to be out there and telling people. So over the last few months, a lot of you have heard me on the testimonials talking about a little friend of mine here in town named Ace. Okay? And I have a surprise for you this morning. Don't have Ace. I have the next best thing. I'm going to ask Jera and Art Zinko to come up and tell you how Ace is doing. Please welcome Jera and Art Zinko.
Camera boy.
Hi everyone. My name is Jera and I am Ace's mom.
And I'm Art Zinko, Ace's dad.
And we just wanted to come this morning and share our story about Ace and how he's doing. Ace is one of 10 children. We share 10 children together. He also has a twin brother named Axel. And they're pretty rambunctious little boys. He's been our most difficult child just because he's so just hyper, crazy kid. He's very smart. His teacher calls him Ace all over the place.
Understatement. Understatement.
He loves Legos, he loves mathematics, he loves science. And recently, this last October, right before Ace and Axel's 7th birthday, Ace was diagnosed with something called DIPG. It's a diffused intrinsic pontine glioma located in the brainstem. It's completely inoperable and incurable, and he was given 8 to 11 months to live. We discovered this because one day, on October 3rd, he stopped using his right arm, and he was walking clumsily around the house.
So I asked him to do some push-ups, and he just completely fell to his left side. He couldn't get up.
So we took him to the emergency room where they ran a number of tests, and they were pretty confused. They didn't know what to think. And another ER doctor came in and ordered a CT scan, which revealed a mass at the brainstem. So we were flown to Salt Lake City, where they confirmed through an MRI that it was in fact DIPG, and there was nothing they could do. There's clinical trials out there. Most of them, well, all of them have failed. And we've decided to try a new one that really hasn't resulted. It's just given about 2 to 3 months left of life. So we came back here home to Las Vegas knowing that our son was going to die probably within 8 to 11 months, and we just had very little time with him. Art's sister she loves research. She researched all kinds of clinical trials, found nothing. And she has a friend who is here today, Kathy, and she called me. And I was introduced to Rick and Neil. They came to my home and spoke to me about the product called Cell Defender, the drops, and Zimmunity. Since October, I have been giving Ace the Zimmunity, 1 in the morning and 1 at night, and I give him his drops daily throughout the whole day. And I have seen drastic improvements. We are 7 months out from his diagnosis. He has not lost any of his hair. He doesn't sleep at all during the day. He walks around.
Gets in the pool.
Yeah, he was swimming last weekend. And shortly after I started giving him the drops, he started using his right arm. He started opening doors. And yeah, he started playing video games again, where he couldn't do that before. And the doctors told us that his motor skills in his right side would not return. But they have. Ace gets MRIs regularly. It's been every 2 to 3 months. He had a recent one, and the results were unclear to me. He was hospitalized simply because his doctor weaned him too quickly off of steroids, so he had to go back in there and get the correct dose for his body. And they did an MRI to make sure the tumor wasn't growing and everything happening to him was not from the tumor getting much bigger. So we had his most recent MRI, and it took me a while to get the results back, and I was furious because the doctors hadn't called me. I was calling them nonstop, trying to figure out what was going on, and they finally called me. And they were studying the MRI, and between them and some doctors in California, doctors in Salt Lake, they had discovered that the tumor has broken into pieces. And they've explained to me that it's pretty unusual for that to happen, but anything's possible. So I want to thank Neil. He comes to my home and checks on Ace and brings me these amazing Cell Defender drops and the Zimmunity, and I truly believe that these are helping Ace. It helps his mood. He's such a happy kid. He was in school last week, and his teacher was in tears because he was sitting in front of the class doing show and tell and joking and laughing. And it's pretty remarkable considering we're 7 months out, and he's supposed to be bedridden by now. So thank you very much, Neil. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, guys. So I just want to unpack this a little bit. Okay. So here's the guys. This is Neil, and this is Rick, the formulator, and this Doug Dickey. These are the three owners of the company. Now, can you imagine any CEO or any formulator going to a person's house in order to deliver them some product and talk to them? This is the kind of company we have, guys. This is the best company I have been involved with. It is a company of heart. There's no big fanfare. As you can see, I don't have any pom-poms on, either does Dr. Kim. We're the real McCoy. We're the real deal. And I just wish that everybody could get an appreciation for really what we have here. Something inoperable, bad cells at the bottom, at the top of the brainstem. You can't get to it. You can't get it with allopathic technology or protocols. But we have diagnostics. And look at where this stuff is made from. Beautiful 18,000 square foot facility, right? This is Rick. And why is it so important that we know about this product? Well, he's the only category creator of this whole zeolite venture. He's a category creator. There's no one on the planet. Imagine billions of people, this guy, and I think it is God sent his intelligence. And we already have sold 8 million bottles of this stuff. It is a 32-step process, 3-day detoxification process. Okay? It's clean. It goes into your body and it's ready to grab your toxins. And guess what? In 6 hours, you just start peeing all the poison out. 6 hours. And there's actually clinical studies having to do, this is not just a show about, the bad cell show here. No, this is not it. It has to do with the whole panorama of maladies, okay? But just remember I told you about the zinc finger protein. They're involved in every process, in every organ system, the lungs, the brain, the heart, everywhere, testicular area, the uterus, everywhere. It's involved with cellular replication. And we have clinical studies to show that this actually works. And if you go to Avini, healthtraining.com, you'll see, actually, no, we made a new website, avinitestimonials.com. You'll see 1,300 testimonials, okay? Now, Doc, before I carry on, you want to comment on the video you just seen?
Steve, I was almost speechless. Can you imagine if we would have known about this stuff some time ago?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. What do you say? The only thing you can do is internalize those feelings and realize that we've been given a gift here with Avini, and we're kind of obligated to share it with as many possible. I think, because to do otherwise wouldn't be right, as far as I'm concerned. We got to spread the word. And for the new people that are here tonight, I apologize if I sound a little proselytizing here, but it is personal. I mean, the two things that attracted me, I had a big exposure to Agent Orange when I was in Vietnam. Every health condition that I've had other than trauma in my life has been directly related to my exposure to Agent Orange. Since I left Vietnam, I have had a rash on the side of my face. I've been to the VA numerous times, dermatologists. They couldn't even figure out what it was. I realized the other day I was on a Zoom call with Paul, and I'm looking at myself on the screen in front of me, and it's almost entirely gone. And that's over 50 years of that on my face. That's just using the Cell Defender for about 6-7 months now. So, I mean, if you think let me digress a little bit and tell you what really bugs me. People say they want to try the cell defender and they get one bottle. And, they don't regrow an arm or something after one bottle and they think, oh, that doesn't work. People, give it a chance. You gotta work at it a little bit. In my case, I've been accumulating toxins for 73 years. They're not going to go away in 1 month or less. So let's have realistic expectations. But if you do, it's miracle.
Excellent. I couldn't say it better, Doc. Yeah, what I was saying, when you get on this product, it's a 3-month test. Okay, minimum 3-month test, because normally I sell lots of other supplements and it was always 3 months. That, like, I mean, some cases are really fast, some cases are slower. Everybody's different, but you just judge for 3 months. You deserve to get better. So what do we do now? So we know we do know what we know. We can't unknow what we know. So what do we do? You want to get more information on this, send you that link about arsenic for sure. You want to become a retail customer, you can do that. There's no pressure to do anything of this. Or you want to become a wholesale distributor, you can, where you get the best deals. And these are some of the packages that we have. These are one-time packages. I suggest getting the biggest package that your budget can buy, because that's the only time you can buy this package. And your whole family is going to need this. Okay, everybody's going to need it. Your grandfather, everybody's going to need this. Your sister, brother, and we do have. Once you get one of these packages, you're a lifetime member. There's no monthly commitments. There is no mandatory auto ship. And if you're interested in doing something as a business, if you want a part-time business making extra $500 a month, here you go. Easy peasy. Now, this is not all we have. We got products for immune support, hydration, pain relief, weight management, energy plus, cardio care, mind and vision. People with problems with memory. You walk into a room, well, what the heck did I come in here for? You can't remember a name. You remember the guy who is, and then you can't remember. You have to look up on your email list to find out, or look at a picture and find out who the hell this guy's name is. It's nuts when you get older. I'm 72. I mean, this. My wife and me started this about 4 days ago. This mind, vision, clarity. It was awesome. Everything. I could recall stuff. In a day and a half. I mean, I'm no superstar, but it helped clean my mind up. I mean, and all these things you can ask whoever invited you to come here. Please ask them about these other products, okay? And Doc, just in closing here, and I'm going to pop up the other thing after we stop the recording, everything onto the chat, so everybody can get that other recording for the arsenic is really important. Just to wrap up this incongruous, disheveled presentation, put a nice bow on it for me, will you?
Well, I'm impressed that you could say incongruous and disheveled. It doesn't matter how you say it. It's what you say and the intention behind it. People get the intent. That's the important thing. And I have been in this industry for almost 60 years. My mother and I went to a meeting at a junior high school, and it was some guy from Ada, Michigan. He had developed some sort of soap stuff, and my mom said we should join and do this. And so that was my first experience with network marketing. I've been with a lot of different companies and seen a lot of different things. I can honestly say I have never been this excited about not only the company, but because of the product. Every product I've tried has been nothing but the best I've ever used. The heart of the company is sincere and pure. I had breakfast this morning with Doug Dickey, and he's just the best and so brilliant. I learned so much from him. I would really encourage you, if you haven't looked at the company yet, to really give it a good look. It's going to go big places. we're going to help a lot of people along the way.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. That's awesome. And thank you, everybody, for attending.